What's happening, Hodl fam? Obviously, it's a little bit of a scary time because Bitcoin is currently trading at 56,100. And again, I've said repeatedly that we can be bullish or we can remain bullish at above 52,000. We have a lot of support here. I'm not freaking out. Even if we go down to 30K, still not freaking out. I see a lot of people in my comments saying buying opportunity. We're going to get the dip that we want. That is the complete attitude that you should have. Now, me personally, I am expecting that the market is going to pick itself back up. I'm not thinking that we're in line for a 80% drop into a multi-year long bear market. I don't think that's what's going to happen. So first and foremost, I'm going to take a look at some of the charts and we're going to talk about where Bitcoin is. Then we got some cool news to talk about, some cool, interesting, and just all around general update on the global economic scheme. So Bitcoin is currently sitting at 56,192, and we see this after a one big red week. So definitely had that red week over there. Now we did over the weekend have a kind of a green start to the weekend before we kind of got that Sunday wick, and then we kind of got this capitulation here today. You can see exactly where my support levels are. So again, we have that 52,000, which is a critical point. We have this trend line that we could bounce above. We could even make it into this intersection here, which would be interesting to see exactly what Bitcoin decides to do. I think we'd have a lot of support to make our way back up. But at the same time, I don't want to speak in absolutes. Bitcoin can absolutely go down, especially this close to December, with a potential mental sell-off from everyone. So there's a lot that could be said about where Bitcoin's going to go. Of course, this is scary. A lot of people maybe are in fear a little bit about where the price goes. I just want to remind everybody, get greedy when people are fearful and get fearful when people are greedy. Right now is really not the time to really worry too much. A lot of markers say that we still have a little bit more life in the bull market in terms of time. So you know, we still have plenty of health. Now, that being said, we could absolutely go down a little bit further. I'd say our bare bones lowest that we could probably see is around 42,000 or 40,000, give or take, somewhere in that zone. I don't think, and I would be betting a lot on this, I don't think that we're going to hit a 30K Bitcoin. In terms of Ethereum approximately wiped off $700 off of its total price over the last couple of days or last week or so, going up to almost $4,100, but basically $4,080. We have Solana that did kind of go on a dip, but it's more looking like it's consolidating here in this zone. This has been pretty indicative of what Solana's done. It's held up pretty well against most of the market drops. Cardano is kind of bleeding in this descending bleeding pattern. Really, this is probably the most aggressive that we've seen Cardano be for a while since back here. We haven't really seen a drop, not even close to this. So this kind of slow drop down is been pretty rough for a lot of Cardano holders. I would say that in terms of Cardano, you guys know that as much as TA is important to me, fundamentals is probably my biggest direction for investments, and the fundamentals are there for Cardano. Am I stressing at all my Cardano holdings? No, I'm not. I mean, I'm holding. This is a great buying opportunity. Under $2 is probably an amazing steal for Cardano. So it might be a great time to load up on your bags. Otherwise, I'm not looking to sell anything or panic in any way and exit my position. That's not what we're about. We invest in good products. Also, I just like to mention here on the channel, if you're invested in PSwap, I haven't sold any PSwap. I'm not selling PSwap. I'm confident of where the project's going to go in the late term. And it is a soft launch and it's still new. So the people asking, don't worry, I'm still a PSwap bull. I still hold all of my position. And for the people that say that I must have made a mistake holding PSwap, I don't know what to tell you. It's my own investment ideology. And I think the fundamentals are good to continue on. Talking about substrate code bases, we're talking about Polkadot now going to $39. So another low here. We talked a lot about Polkadot. We had a huge buying opportunity here. The huge buying opportunity sub $30. I still think this is a cheap Polkadot. I do think Polkadot can hit upwards to $150 by the end of the market cycle. I may be a little bit moon boyish for some people. I may be a little bit bearish for some people. I know a lot of people are calling for more. but I think $150 is appropriate for where Substrate can take us in terms of Polkadot and all the growth that's happening on the Polkadot ecosystem. Our total market cap right now is just under $2.5 trillion. I'm sure CoinGecko has a different price there. So we did bleed quite a bit because I think we went into the weekend at 2.6, I want to say. But I know at some point we had hit basically $3 trillion or close to $3 trillion. Yes, our all-time high was essentially $3 trillion. And it's funny because when you talk about certain things, right, Bitcoin hit that 69,000 level, which is a critical level in itself. But all of cryptocurrency hit a $3 trillion level and got rejected, right? So just think about that when you're thinking about crypto and everything. Everything sure moves to Bitcoin's drum, but at the same time, everything has its own drum that it's beating on as well. So it is often important to kind of keep this in perspective and take a look at this market. In some news, El Salvador, the El Salvadorian president, is saying that they're building a Bitcoin city. What that entails, I'm not quite sure. But let me know what you guys think of this. Would you guys move to the Bitcoin city in El Salvador? I think it's interesting. We're going to take a quick listen here. So just bear with me here while we...
So we were thinking of building Bitcoin city. Over there, there you have El Salvador, you have the geothermal plant. Some people saw that. You have that in Berlin and Sultan. And right next to, well, close to there, here you have the power plant. And close to there, you have the Golfo de Fonseca, the Fonsecan Gulf. So why don't we build the city over there in the Fonsecan Gulf?
So I guess cool idea. I don't know the ins and outs of how this is going to work, what a Bitcoin city even is. Interesting concept. Would you guys move there? It's funny because I know a lot of people actually searched real estate once they learned that El Salvador was taking Bitcoin as legal tender. I find that very interesting. In terms of some news, institutional managers have bought the dip in terms of crypto. And now this is a big thing to keep in mind, right? Because a lot of people are still buying cryptocurrency. There's a lot of institutional pressure to buy crypto and get crypto on balance sheets for certain companies. Yes, Apple said that they're not holding crypto in their reserves, but that's Apple. That's one drop in a much bigger bucket. So obviously institutional investors are moving in, flocking, bringing in a total of $154 million. Now, it's important to note that October was a record-breaking month for Bitcoin funds, and that was basically brought on by the approval of the two ETFs, the two Bitcoin ETFs in the United States. On top of that, Fundware buys $24 million of Bitcoin, adding it to their reserves, approximately 398 Bitcoin for $23.8 million in cash. And that brings their total holdings of Bitcoin to 529. And their dollar cost average is approximately 60,191. So of course, it might seem scary, the fact that Bitcoin is sitting at 55,000, almost 56,000, might seem scary to some people, but at the same time, you got to think some people's dollar cost average is right up here, and this is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and buy more and lower their dollar cost average. So that's what smart investors are doing. Always keep that in mind. To top it off with the last bit of news here, President Biden has picked Jerome Powell to be the next Federal Reserve Chair. I don't think that this comes to a surprise for anyone that Jerome Powell would be picked. I think Mr. Transitory Inflation is the obvious pick to be put in the Federal Reserve at this point, in this juncture, for what the government needs the Federal Reserve to do, which is essentially print money into oblivion, which is what it seems to be. Of course, Jerome Powell has a lot of initiatives to get to CBDC status as quickly as possible. Whether you appreciate CBDCs or don't, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, governments need CBDCs. You can't expect a legitimate government like the United States or like any other country, Canada, for example, to just have Bitcoin as their legal tender. As great as that would be, and I know libertarians in the chat, I know you guys want it really, 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 really badly, but just because you want it really badly doesn't mean it's going to happen. That being said, CBDCs are probably going to be the way to go for most countries, right? That doesn't mean that you can't still transact in Bitcoin. And I think that we should have a system later on down in the future where we can strictly transact with Bitcoin and our desired cryptocurrencies. But I think CBDCs are the gateway to get these countries into cryptocurrency. And obviously, Jerome Powell is pressing for the CBDC push. So that is what it is. I don't think anyone is really shocked about Jerome Powell stepping up to be the chair again for another term. I don't know the ins and outs of the Federal Reserve, if there are term limits. I have no clue, but at this point, he's been running the Federal Reserve and he's going to continue running the Federal Reserve, and we'll see exactly where this is going to go. And just remember, inflation is transitory. But that's it for me. Hopefully this video kind of helped you understand exactly where we are in the market. Of course, I'm not stressing anything right now. A lot of people I know are freaking out. A lot of people are scared with the price going down. You just need to kind of keep your wits about you. Keep in perspective why you're invested in this currency, why you're invested in blockchain, and you're invested in the future, right? We're talking about something as impactful as the internet, but for money, for finances. It truly takes the value of money and puts it into a trust-based code that allows you to transact safely and in a lot of cases under the parameters of a smart contract. So there's a lot of benefits to cryptocurrency. And of course, this market is going to be shaky. It wouldn't be crypto if we weren't going down sometimes. But I'd just say hold on to your hats. And you know what? If you're one of the people that think that we're going to crash in December, go ahead and sell and then prove me wrong. If you did like this content, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to the channel for more crypto news and content. And of course, happy hodling.